talking about today? We brought you here so you can talk to us about not your dad's ETL or accelerating ETL and modernization and migration.
Yes, of course.
A lot of words. Before we kick it off, what is ETL?
It's the extract, transform, and load. So the idea is like you're extracting something from somewhere.
Okay.
You're transforming it, making a bunch of changes in it.
Okay.
And then you're loading somewhere.
Okay.
So other downstream application able to consume those data.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So ETL is, I think, one of the most important. One of the important parts of data, right? Like when you do data analytics, ETL is important to get your data from somewhere, do something to it, and get it into something you will do analytics with. So tell me, what are the most common, or what are the biggest problems when it comes to ETL, traditional ETL?
Okay, so the one which we have seen is like the explode of data, right? So we are getting a lot of data, getting from different kind of data sources.
Okay.
And then different varieties of data, the volume, velocity, variety, all those B5, like big five of big data, right? So the traditional ETL tool was not built. It was traditionally built on like 90s, right? So scaling was one of those difficulties. And then if you have a varieties of data, how are you going to go make a transformation? And now what we're doing is we are in a world where all those things are, more kind of microservice architecture, like everything is working in isolation. So if any schema is changing, right, how I'm able to accommodate that schema change within my downstream application.
Okay.
And because now as developer is not gonna, hey, we're going to have this change request where I will be going and making my application change, you just do it.
Right.
Without being worrying about, okay, what happened to those poor guys who's actually dependent on those schema? I think Bar has talked about this problem in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So the main challenge is like, okay, how you scale, and then like kind of a data which you're getting.
Yeah.
It's not just a flat file anymore. It's just not you're bringing the data from the relational data store.
Yeah.
It's also like you're having that XML, and that's what I will be doing as a one of my customer had an issue. I don't know if I am able to share my screen here.
Yes, you are. Wait a second. Let me bring your screen up here. Navnit screen. Boom. Okay. Can you zoom in a bit into this?
Yes. Let me.
Ooh,
my bad. I just. Okay. Is it visible or is no? Still having issues.
There we go. It's a bit better, so we can see all the little things. So wait a bit. Navnit. We forgot to do something. I'm just gonna say, Navnit, who are you? Like, what do you do? I didn't introduce you. I brought this person on camera and just talk, please.
Okay. No, that's a good one.
Who is Navnit? Tell us what you do, what's your role, and all that fun stuff.
So, like you, I work with AWS. My role is a little different. I'm a specialist solution architect, specialized in analytics.
Analytics. Okay.
So, primarily work on the analytics stack of AWS.
Okay.
And I have rehearsed this line to stay online. I help my customer to bring value from their data or extract value from their data.
And your favorite service is Glue. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the demo and then we can actually see all of these things. So tell us what your customer has done.
So this use case is very near or dear to me because when I joined AWS and went to customer and they were new to AWS Analytics. And we went and we asked them, hey, you're starting with AWS, like how we can help you. They said like, okay, we are having this use case we want to solve.
Right.
So this is an insurance company. They do a lot of claim processing, and they had independent vendors which used to send them an XML file for them to do a claim processing, right? So the problem is they had this old ETL prop which was built on. No offense to Microsoft, but it was built on Microsoft stack, right? Mm-hmm. So bunch of file which was put on SFTP locations, right? And then they had this SSIS job used to run, able to bring the data, and then do all kind of mapping, and then eventually able to put those data into Microsoft SQL Server, and then eventually downstream application was used to consume from the Microsoft SQL Server. However, the problem which they have described to us, first of all, the scaling problem. So if like lot and lot of claim processing is happening, it's very difficult for them to scale their SSIS job, right? The other problem which they have described to us is the cost, because now you're having a relational data store, which like, for all the claim processing, etc. And the other problem which they have described is if there's a change in the schema, because, they can't force like, okay, how you able to have your file being submitted, right? And so that's like enforcing the schema. That was the difficulty. And they have literally a team of engineers managing this data pipeline. So like lot and lot of waste of resources, because those engineers can do a better job than just managing and monitoring this entire
I don't think this has anything to do of it being a Microsoft product. Microsoft products are wonderful. I think this is just the fact that it was built in a very traditional way in a I don't like to call it we don't think about scale way, but it's like it didn't.
It's traditional, right?
It's a traditional.
How it's supposed to be like. Exactly. It's no offense to Microsoft, but this is how you used to be built. Even I worked with Microsoft in past. So,
right. Okay, so how did this thing change? How did this thing evolve?
So the architecture which we have presented to them, because first of all, like we're learning and how they can easily build this one, right? So we try to address all the challenges which is being mentioned by the customer. So first, like, how are you able to extract the data from STP locations, right? And able to ensure, like, if there's a lot of like files are coming, you're able to scale as well. And that's where, like, we thought, okay, let's go with the serverless. I think there are a lot of serverless discussion happening. So anyways, we choose my favorite service, Glue, to, it has a various, platforms. So Python is one of them. So we have used Python to connect to the SFTP location and able to bring the file. So once the file is being there, we are putting those file into S3 raw zone, which is kind of a terms we use in a data lake, right? When you bring the file as it is without even worrying about making any transformation to it. So you're bringing, we have brought this file from many SFTP locations. We are putting those files into data lake. The other thing which we did is, now we have a file, and these are the complex XML file. It's not that like, you literally go and able to extract the metadata information. It has like thousands of attributes in it. So we have something in Glue we call AWS Glue crawler, which actually go and extract the metadata information for you, right? So what we did is we have kind of built a crawler for them and said like, hey, you know what? This is how your structure look like. And the other thing which we have did, the problem which they have talked about is what if there is a change in the schema, right? We wanted to know if there's a change in the schema. So again, right, Glue crawler, which actually crawl and extract the metadata and store those metadata into we call it Glue data catalog, right? So what we did is like, we have like every time when there's a change in schema, it's able to go and detect those changes in schema, and then we have sent those schema changes via notification. So we have integrated with SNS. So
and is all this done automatically? So
everything, because it being kind of it logged to your CloudWatch. You're able to extract those changes and you're able to send to your send those notifications. So it was way easy for them. So, but that's not where they saw like, this is wow, man. And what we did is, and thereafter we have converted those data into Parquet. And have those data put into curated zone, right? Doing all kind of a transformation we have talked about, right? And once the data is in Parquet, we have used service called Athena, right?
To query it.
Just to query it. And literally this entire solution cost them less than $5.
$5?
Yes.
It's insane. So, and I think it's the thing when we talk about serverless that it can be really, really cheap when you build stuff like this. And we also have Rancor Bro saying, I need this solution. Is this solution somewhere available publicly that they can have a look at it? Check it out?
I think I can write a blog about it. Yes, certainly. I can. I have my inner. I have a document with me. Maybe I can share with you. But or maybe I can officially write a blog about. I'm writing a blog how to detecting the schema and changing notification.
Now you have to write that blog. So you said it here publicly. So Roncore Bro, Navnit is going to write a blog post about this entire thing, so you can check it out. And yeah, oh, hey, Arctic Fox, welcome back. I remember you from previous streams. Okay, Navnit, are you going to show us something on the console as well?
Yeah, of course. So, I wanted to show this entire architecture,
Okay.
like, okay, how we did that, right? So,
Right.
I'm having this, let me
So you do that. You know, struggling stuff when it comes to sharing. Steve, on me. Thank you. On us. So struggling sometimes when needing to share individual windows. So you can just do that and let us know when we're ready. But you know, like having ETL in a very serverless way is a very good thing. And
ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Boom. Okay. Glue serverless. Go for it.
So see, I talked around a couple of components, right? So I want to show you an action. So that's a crawler, which actually go and extract the metadata information from your data. So what you actually have to do is just you have to point the crawler where all the data being reside.
Okay.
So that is your S3, where most of our customers build their data lake, right?
Okay.
So once the data is in S3, you able to literally, right, I have built this crawler, which actually going into where...
Can you zoom in a bit to this one
Yeah.
so we can see it a bit better?
Sure.
There we go, make it chunky.
Is better
Good.
now?
Yeah, better now, better.
It's just me going... Okay, how I can scroll down now? Maybe I can just go a little.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
just make
My
sure.
bad, it's just I was not able to spread.
Okay.
So this is just a crawler, right?
Okay.
If you see here, this is like going into my S3 location and extracting the metadata.
Okay.
So the only thing which you have to worry about, this role should have access to your S3 location.
What kind of data is in that bucket?
It's an XML data.
XML data.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an XML data in a flat file format, right? It means it's an XML data in a nested format. So, and once you're able to go and extract, yeah, we have.
I'm going to give you some XML here. There you go.
All right.
Keep talking.
right. So once we're there, right, we wanted to, because if we have like millions and millions of files,
Yeah.
it's impossible for me going into Naked Eyes and see how the data will look like. So we wanted to give that structure. And
Okay.
that's where the glue is very handy, because what you're doing is you will be creating this data catalog, which has which has a metadata in form of your databases and table. So if you see here, what we did is we have extracted the metadata information, and this is how my table structure going to look like. So bunch of
Okay.
columns, and then we have this structure which is kind of nested, and it has all the addresses, right?
And is this schema automatically generated?
Yeah.
Okay, the crawler does that for you. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. In this example, it's very
Simple,
easy,
yeah, yeah.
but like literally the customer has like thousands of attributes, so it was
Okay.
very complex for them. So here, the other fancy thing about the glue is comparing the schema changes, right? So if you see here, this is my latest schema, which is because by default it points to the latest schema.
Okay.
This is like current version. But if I go on, just simple click on this compare version, it gives me like, okay, what changes has happened.
Right.
So if you see here, showing I had a change in my nested loop where the ship info has been changed.
Okay.
Right. So if I go and click on this one, oh my God. Okay, this is not nice. But let me.
You can zoom out if you want. It's a scaling issue, but in this case, a browser window scaling.
Yeah. So anyway, so the idea was like, okay, I have made changes.
Okay.
I wanted to show that, but I have changed the column name
Okay.
from the previous file to the next file, and Glue able to automatically able to
Okay.
identify those changes. So the only thing which you have is like you have to run the Glue crawler
Right.
in order for it to do that. Usually you can automate this entire process. We have that event, right? So you can have those into, like if there's an event happening, maybe you're putting new file into your S3 location, it will automatically run able to extract the metadata,
Yep.
right? So once the metadata is being extracted, you're able to see all kind of a definition around that metadata, right? It's being listed in form of
Okay.
column. The next stage is, right, okay, now this is an XML file. It's not very optimal, and especially when you talk about Spark, right?
Okay.
Because Spark is MPP, which is massive parallel processing, right?
Of course.
And it has a multiple worker nodes, which actually goes and have a multiple stream, which try to kind of go into multiple places, try to bring those data, do
Yeah.
all kind of a transformation it, and then load it, right? So we wanted to have those make changes, right? So what we did is we have converted those into Parquet, because Parquet being a splittable file format, right?
course.
So it worked best with the glue.
Okay.
And thereafter we also had like kind of partitions. So all the best practices which we goes with S3, or right, or building the data lake on S3, having the data partition, having the data in a file format which is optimal for MPP architectures,
Right.
etc. And once done, we just able to go and run the query. So just
Okay.
and
In Athena.
in Athena.
Okay, in Athena,
And this is entire serverless. Like there's no server or anything is been involved.
I love that.
And they were like, and they are like new to AWS. It was like magic to them. Hey, how because we have like really complex SSIS packages, and every time if there's a change in a schema, I have to go through this entire change process to identify which schema has been changed, bring those schema changes in my code, and then eventually run this entire package again, and then loading the data. And the biggest problem was like it was schema on write, so you have to go and update your table on Microsoft SQL Server, whereas it's a schema on read.
Of course.
So you have made, all you have to worry about the schema is when there is a change in the schema. And the best part is if I go and simply delete this table, my data is remaining intact.
Right, because you're just deleting the Athena table, not the actual data
exactly.
in the bucket.
Right. So see, if you see this one, right, this is how my data look like, and this is bunch of nested file within nested column within XML or within Parquet. We just converted those one, and you can simply able to flatten this data within Athena itself, right? So once we able to flatten the data, this is how actually this flattened data look like.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is more kind of me flattening this data. And the cost was way less, as I already mentioned, right? It's just less than $5 to build this entire solution for them, and which actually mind-blowing for them.
That's really mind-blowing. Especially again, we used to talk about data architectures, data solutions, ETLs, whatnot, and being like this very complex, over the top pipeline. But this is like serverless. So Glue is serverless, Athena is serverless, an S3 bucket is serverless, and who do we have here? This is how you do production on a show. We're trying to do. Hi there.
New shirt alert.
Yeah, she has a new shirt. There you go. So yeah, it is one of these things that serverless brings us, like a relatively low cost, and of course, the cost goes up with the amount of data you have and the amount. I think the cost of Glue is about data quantity, right? The more data you crawl through would be.
Not actually.
No?
Again, I do not want to go into weights, but primarily like how much GPU, which is data processing unit, you're using with the Glue job. So it has nothing to. Of course, like the more data you have. Glue is nothing, it's just bringing the data into memory, and because Glue is built on Spark, and Spark is an open source framework just to bring the data, add the data into memory, do all kind of processing, and then write it back to wherever we wanted to have those data. So, yeah.
I want to just answer a question here. There's a great question from Tisran. Can you please explain serverless with a real world example? What we are doing right here, Tisran, is explaining serverless with a real world example.
So let me do one more time. Let me try it better. So just think of if you have to query a data, right? How you have to do that? You have to have a database services up and running somewhere.
Correct.
Right, and it's run on a server.
It's running on a server.
And then once you're done, you have ingesting bunch of data into it and start doing a query against it. Athena, which is our serverless query engine. I have data sitting in S3, which is my object store, which can store any kind of data, right, with structure and unstructured. Exactly, right? So you have bunch of data being stored there, and then I'm just directly pointing to the data which is there in S3, right? If I just simply go and show you the property of this data, right, it's not being shown because I've crawled. But the idea is like, if I'm just generating, let me generate the ETL. I do not want to look stupid on online. So
We're here to look stupid, Navnit. That's
okay.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
we do.
My kid is watching, so.
I was also noticing earlier, just looking at myself on the camera, I'm like, wow, does my face normally look like that? Oh dear, you know? Funny realization. But yeah, I mean, I think to answer the question in general, right, just like at a really high level, the way that I think of Glue, I think it's such a powerful ETL tool.
Yeah.
And just think of it as like kind of like serverless ETL, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like at the end of the
exactly.
day,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
the
you're
whole thing.
doing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Means you as a
Nice.
customer has not to worry about any kind of maintenance, right?
Right.
Means usually maintaining the server will go a lot of patching, scaling,
Correct.
securing, provisioning, etc. Right? So we do all those things for you. So that's the serverless is all about.
Like,
Yeah.
Tisram, imagine this. Tisram, imagine if you would have to set up a server, a physical server or a virtual server that would run these tools for you. When it comes to data ingestion, transformation, and all that fun stuff. With Glue and things like Aurora, there are actually no servers. So in essence, it's a management thing. Of course, there are servers somewhere in the back, but you don't have to care about them.
Nope.
You have not to worry about doing your own laundry. So
Exactly.
if I have to explain.
There we go. Wonderful. That.
Yep.
Awesome. So
And when you wear this many shirts, you got to do a lot of laundry. So it's
absolutely. So Navnit, I'm going to have to stop you right here. We're kind of short on time. We have Koerik asking about, can they get this raw I/O presentation? Can you share this with them? Is it possible that you can? So Navnit is going to go after he's done. He's going to walk over to the next room and he's going to go on Twitch and he's going to, if he can share it with somebody, he'll do it. So there we go. And he also promised to write a blog post.
Of course, it looks like there's a lot of demand from our viewers.
There you go. I mean, the serverless ETL. You said it's $5. Come on. It's
$5. I spent more on breakfast.
yeah, exactly. It's amazing. So Navnit, one last thing. If you could give one piece of advice to up and coming data engineers and scientists and system administrators, database people, when it comes to ETL, what should they look out for?
Okay, stop going to ETL.
Stop.
Yeah, just go to the extract,
Okay.
load, and transform.
Okay.
Move away from the ETL, do and build your data lake, lake house, whatever you're doing.
Okay.
Build that ELT process.
ELT process.
Yes.
Okay.
First, bring the data in. So this will help you to kind of expedite your building the data pipeline. Once you have all the data in, because storage is way cheap now. Like
Sure,
it's like
sure.
in cents, right?
Sure.
Why you have to even worry about? Oh, I have to do a lot of data discovery. I have to do a lot of filtering, etc., on the source level itself. Why can't you just bring all the data as it is, and then do your transformation on top of it? So get away from the ETL, move towards ELT.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Navnit, so much. This has been a pleasure. This is the first guest who came in person, so yay.
Hey there! Thanks for checking out this video. Remember to give it a like and share with your community. Then hit subscribe and the bell for all the latest content that will help you build on AWS.